What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another drive of the week. Super excited about this one that we got going this week. Once again, appreciate you guys tuning in. We love having you guys on the channel. We really appreciate your support, and we're looking forward to continuing to grow this thing more and more. So the game I got for you guys today is 2024 Cowboys versus the Saints. And the reason why I picked this game, the Cowboys were winners of the NFC East in 2023. They were coming into this year. This was a very highly anticipated year for the Cowboys. They had a 16 game winning streak at home in the regular season, and the Saints were coming off, kind of another shaky year, and they started this year super hot, including this game where they beat up on the Cowboys 44-19. So what I loved watching this game was just seeing what the Saints were doing to, kind of confuse Dak throughout. And this stop comes later in the fourth quarter. The Cowboys were down big, and they were trying to do everything they could to, make a final push at the end. So we're going to dive right into it. So for the first play that we're going to dive into, they're in about 11 personnel right here. We've got the tight end on the top of the screen right here. We got, the guy down here, CeeDee Lamb. And they're in this open 2x2 set. So first play for the Saints, we see them, they're a little late to line up, so they're a little out of place. The Cowboys are going to hurry up at this time. They're trying to get as many points as fast as possible. So they're in a little hurry up. They don't get quite lined up right, but it doesn't change what they're doing. You can see right here, Tampa 2 defense was giving that away. You see Demario Davis right here. He's getting depth initially on the snap of the ball. You've got both safeties. They're getting off the hash. They're covering their deep half. And then you've got these corners who are just going to kind of sit here in these flats. And then you got your nickel and your will playing these hook curl windows right here, all to go along with a little four-man rush. And as well with that four-man rush, we get a little bit of a tech stunt down here. It's a little bit delayed, but Chase Young's trying to come underneath this tackle and put some pressure here on Dak. But, Dak does a good job, credit to him. He sees the coverage. He gets a little bit of pressure on his right side right here, but this is where you want to beat Tampa 2 coverage, right underneath that mic drop. So he finds the back, quick little check down. Not a bad play on 1st and 10. They're going to get this to about second and about 5, I would say. So, but as you can see, they get a little lined up a little bit late, and then you get good pressure right here. He kind of pushes this right tackle just right back into Dak's lap. Kind of gets him off his progression. He doesn't want to take a sack here. He knows he's got to, continue to get good yardage. So a little dump down, and then the nickel and the will do a good job, kind of rally, and then Chase Young's gonna, clean it all up. And that'll bring them to second down. So they're going to be in second down and about 5. They're down here in the red zone. They're on about the 17-yard line. They come out in this 3-by-1 bunch. As you can see, you've got the Mike linebacker over here. He's manned up on the tight end right here. They're still in 11 personnel. They've got the tight end receivers back, and then CD down here. And the Saints are going to come out. They're going to play a type of cover 1, but they're going to do so while bringing some pressure off this right side, off the weak side. So they're going to send. This is Tyrann Mathieu. He's playing safety for him, and this is their Will linebacker. So they're going to bring these two guys off the edge. I think there might have been a little miscommunication here because they're both kind of going to the same gap, and they both kind of peel off for the back when they see him jump. It looks like they both kind of have eyes on this guy. So my assumption is one of them was to come and one of them was to take this running back in man coverage. But as we see on the rest of the coverage, we've got this corner manned up down here. We've got the Mike taking this guy. We've got the nickel. He's going to take the inside of the bunch. And then the corner's going to play off man down here on this outside guy just to make sure, he doesn't get beat over the top. They don't want to give up a big play, but he can keep this underneath them and rally to that. Still man here. But one of the best parts of this play is, you see this free safety. He's playing kind of center field. And off rip, you see him just start sprinting over here. Dak's trying to hold him in the middle of the field. Dak likes this matchup down here. CD, one-on-one. He's going to give him a chance. It's second and short. Why not throw it up? Give one of the best receivers in the NFL a chance. But this safety does a great job, and He gets a great jump on this, and he's still just in time to help make a play. But he's making this a tough catch, puts a hit on CD. That's a great play by that safety. They get up there fired up. We love to see it. Hopefully CD's all right. I think he is. But they do a great job. So they come out first. They do Tampa. They come out second. They go man, cover one with kind of a hole player back there in center field. The other thing they do here, D-line wise, I want to point out, we get a couple slants this way, right? Every coach is going to have their terminology for it. And then you got Chase Young sets up here, and he's going to go inside as well, assuming that somebody's going to bring pressure off this outside. Nobody ends up doing so, but as you can see, we get the slants, and this is really just setting up for this nose. Run right into here and get this tackle freed up to come underneath. So they're doing some different stuff. They're giving Dak and the Cowboys a lot of different looks, and we're just 2 plays into this thing. So we get into third down, come out. First thing I noticed, I went, all right, well, these guys are really wide, right? When I see that, I'm initially thinking, okay, we might have some type of double mug. We might get some type of pressure with these backers coming. We might get double slants inside. We might have backer replace outside. Multiple things that can happen. And I'm almost certain Dak's thinking the same thing as well. But they send this tight end in motion. They're trying to get a man check. They're trying to see who's following him, who's not. Dak takes a look at it. He goes, okay, I'm probably in some type of zone coverage. But what we don't expect, right, is, we're in 2-man. We're in 2-man. It's hard for them to kind of realize this because he doesn't get all the way across. You see Tyrann kind of show like he's going to come down and cover this, and the will kind of expands a little bit like he's going to come cover this, but at the end of the day, not enough. They roll it back, and we're going to get a sprint. Looks like a smash swap right here. They're trying to dive this guy inside. He's going to run the corner route. They're going to put Cavante right here on a little out route. It's going to be like a smash switch kind of concept. They're trying to get this rub. They see the man. He's going to try and rub for this guy, and they're trying to get Cavante out here to pick up the first down on third and manageable. It's what we get. You see the corner. We don't get a really great rub for the Cowboys here. One's able to kind of sneak underneath it and still contest this. Makes Dak have to force this corner out in here, but overall we get a cover 2-man look. Okay, we're manned up here. We're manned up here. He's deep half. He's deep half. We're man up here. The will is responsible for the back, and then our Mike linebacker is responsible for this tight end if he was to run out. He does stay in pro, and DeMario does a great job of just riding with the wave and trying to get underneath anything and, add another hat to that concept. As you can see here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys for 2 receivers, so making this really difficult for Dak. And then up front, of course, they do a great job. Obviously, we talked about this front a little bit, but they do a great job. Mario, as soon as this guy comes back in motion, he does a great job of recognizing, hey, they're running something over there. They're running some type of flood. They're going to either run, any type of concept, but they're going to roll out. This is just, a great player watching a lot of film because, if we're looking at it in this sense, we've got no people responsible for these A gaps, which could be a liability. If they were to run, just some type of inside zone here, they might have a good play, but he's watching film, he trusts what he sees, and they're going to play fast and they're going to play to what they know, and this is what makes him an all-pro linebacker. The other thing, as soon as he comes back out here, we get a little bit of widen. They get the roll. This tight end's trying to reach this defensive end. This defensive end just makes it really tough. He doesn't let Dak get outside. Makes Dak have to pull up, kind of make an awkward throw out of rhythm, and isn't able to make a super accurate ball down here to number 1 running this corner route. And then they force him into 4th down. So we get into 4th down. Like I said earlier, it's late in the game. They're trying to score. It's do or die at this point. They got to put points on the scoreboard. So they come out here, a little bit of a 2-by-2 set. This tight end's closed this time. He's going to be on the line of scrimmage. You've got CD here in the slot. And then you've got the Saints D-line. They come out in a little bit of a different look. they've got, you know, Chase out here, other D end out here, and then they got 2 linebackers up here in this kind of Build-A-Bear front. You know, 5 guys up, you know, the O-line's got to talk to each other. They got to figure out how they want to sort out this protection and do what they can do to, you know, give Dak as much time. Obviously, if they got 5-on-5 and the running back might have to help, you know, they might bring some pressure out here. But you got 2 high safeties, so you're probably not expecting any type of crazy pressure at this moment. On the snap of the ball, first thing you notice, these linebackers pop out. Boom. Boom. Right? Other thing you notice, you get safety rotation. You get safety rotation down into here. You get safety rotation back into the middle of the field. And what we end up getting is some type of cover 1 robber. And they do it with drop 8, right? So they're only bringing 1, 2, 3 guys on defense. And then they're dropping their 8 guys in coverage. They got man here, manned up here, manned up here. And then this Will takes the running back out of the backfield. The Mike linebacker, you know, he's dropping. He's trying to take away anything quick in the inside. If, you know, it's 4th and 5, he's trying to take away any in-breakers. And then you've got Tyrann Mathieu. He's going to play this robber spot. He's going to play this whole same thing on this side. If we're to get an in-breaker over here, you know, he's going to be the one to drive on that. So, and then, of course, you got your safety back here kind of playing center field. So we get a cover 1 robber look with the drop 8. And they really just, they're all over this thing from the jump, you know. Nobody's open. You know, you see down here, we get a good press down here. Close off that in-breaker. Same thing with CD here in the slot. He's sandwiched between 2 guys right here. The Will does a good job. You know, this is a tough throw away from him. The corner up top does a great job. And then, you know, Tyrann's just watching the quarterback, and he's going to be able to make a play on this. And the Saints do a great job here of, you know, really just sticking to these guys. It's a tough situation, right? Like, you know, at the end of a ball game, you know, you want to mix up your looks. You want to give a team, you know, different looks when you're in kind of this red zone area. You know, a lot of teams are going to play some type of man, some type of man, bring pressure. You know, they want the ball out of your hands. They don't want you to sit back there this whole time. And they really want to speed up your process for a quarterback. So I really like this drive because I think the Saints did a great job. They gave them 4 different coverages from Tampa, cover 2 man, gave them normal cover 1, and then they gave them this cover 1 robber. And they also played with their fronts a lot. So they played with the D-line. You know, they're doing stunts. They're bringing Build-A-Bear fronts. They're dropping guys out of it. So I think they did a really good job, you know, in this game specifically to, you know, give trouble to Dak in this Cowboys. And at the end of the day, they ended up ending this that 16-game home winning streak in the regular season, and you know, the Saints got out of there with a win. It was a tough year for the Saints that year. I think they went on a little bit of a losing streak, but they were hot early. They had some QB trouble. They had some injuries, but that is our stop of the week this week. Couldn't be more excited about the content we have coming for you guys. So please like, subscribe, you know, follow us on our socials. You know, ask us questions. We wanna be a resource for you guys that watch these videos. So if you know, if you want to debate something with me, hit the comment section. And of course, thank you, and we'll see you guys in our next video.